Morning, everybody. Welcome to Lock Pod with two excellent guests in one show. And, of course, me, Kevin, and Jill, and John. But two excellent guests.
It's a first.
It is.
We're lucky to have one sometimes.
He's your famous younger brother.
Yeah, the popular Smith. The one that's
I think all of
the
the
most loved.
I think all of the Smiths are loved.
Yeah, I
mean, there's different
our parents
levels
say
of
they
love,
do, but
right?
yeah.
But we got Matt Money Smith in the studio. Welcome back to the region, Matt.
It's great to be back. I didn't realize how long it'd been. And I've
How
been
long
back
has it
like
been?
3 years.
I think so.
Pre-pandemic?
I was here for the Charger Bear game when I called the Chargers game
That's
at
right.
Soldier Field. It was like 3 years ago.
There's
That's the
lost
last
on
time I
a
was
field
here.
goal.
I don't remember that. I don't think I said that.
Yeah.
There's lost on a last-second field goal coming right at me.
Really?
I was like, here
Big
we
shot.
go.
Was that? Hold it. That was
It
last
was after
season.
the double doink, so whatever that year was.
that was great.
19 maybe.
It
Probably
was, I want to say it was the year that the Chargers were not good. So it was the year before the Chargers drafted Herbert.
So that's
Because it was like
19.
a
By the
5-win
way,
season.
I love that guy.
He's the best.
He was. I want to. Don't tell me. He was Oregon.
Yeah.
That's right.
Won the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
I figure
I
you
love
watch
him.
the Rose Bowl.
No, yeah, I do. I watch.
That's what I mean. Big Ten
Everybody.
country. That's why I'm here.
Right.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's
College.
fantastic.
I love watching Oregon play too. That's just a fun team to watch.
They used to be. When
they
Justin was there, they wasted him. Mario Cristobal, who's now the head coach down at Miami, it was just, all running the ball, don't turn it over under any, which is why Justin slipped to 6, because he wasn't throwing the ball around. He was just kind of running, ball control, let the defense win games, and then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, he can read progressions like lightning quick, and he's
Really?
incredible.
Yeah.
Well, he's shown it.
Yeah.
You were
so-
really close to the former quarterback too,
Phillip
Chargers.
Rivers.
How's he doing? I know he's not
He's
playing.
doing great.
He's
I
not
think
playing though, right?
He's coaching a Catholic school, St. Anthony's, I believe it is, or St. Andrews, down in Alabama, about
Really?
an
That's
hour
where he's
from
from,
where
though,
he
right?
was raised. Yeah, and so it's like, he's the head coach. His brother's the OC. His cousins are the DC
But
and
that's
the
how it
receivers.
starts, right? Then you bounce up to college. And
He
then...
is no interest. He wants
really?
to stay. Yeah, Philip's a cool guy, man. He's who he is.
He was really Catholic
And
too,
he's
right?
Incredibly, got to find a Latin mass when we're on the road
Whoa.
on Sunday, and if not,
Not
you got to
easy.
bring in
Really?
a priest to give me
that's
a
super.
Latin mass.
That's
That's
really
not
cool.
easy.
Yeah.
So 3 years from the region, I think probably because of pandemic, because usually you come
Pandemic.
home during March for the NFL Combine.
Right.
And then you're, like this week, you're in between Combine and calling the Big Ten tournament. You got a couple games you're calling down
Right.
in Indy and a couple.
Nice.
So we
IU?
got to...
Calling IU, Michigan, yeah.
Whoa.
So I'll do that Thursday morning. Tomorrow I got, I think it's Nebraska, Minnesota, because it got weird on Sunday with all the stuff that happened. Nebraska knocking off Wisconsin and just the way some games played out. Everything shuffled at the last second. So I believe I have Nebraska, Minnesota is what it is, and then I have Indiana, Michigan to get us started.
Awesome,
No, that's
man.
great. So the good thing, I guess, for all of us was you got to come to the region
Yeah.
for the first time in 3 years and hang out and visit with us today.
So
and
last
Mom and
week
Dad
you
over
were
the
at
weekend.
Indy for the combine, and then just so coincidentally, 2 weeks in a row.
Just figured, why not stay?
Well, this
Yeah,
is
stay.
high time in the region for vacation. This is
Hell
this is
yeah.
when we get
Right.
all our.
Who would not want to be here right now?
I mean,
Right?
early March in the region.
I haven't seen
It's-
the sky in like a month.
The restaurants are full. The roads are packed. Everyone's
During Lent,
vacationing.
yeah.
It's my time. It's just the time I want to
right.
be here. It reminds
This is-
me
that's
why I
right.
live where I live. As much
is
as I
where
love
I'm
being
from.
around family, yeah, it's much.
right. Of course.
It's a quick reminder. Get me back home, please.
I did my first night with my new Aura ring. by
I
the
was
way.
noticing you got a little extra hardware
See?
on today.
Yeah, it's not an extra wedding ring. This is
Is this the first ad on the show?
yeah, it should be.
It should- no, most of the things we talk about, we don't get paid for, Matt.
There you go.
We pay actually. That's the perverse thing about this show.
So
we
what-
actually have
I
to pay
paid for
money.
this ring.
Why is the ring? You have an Apple Watch on as well.
Yeah, it's like because I'm paranoid. I want to both of them.
Right?
But
So
like, I
what's-
don't know how accurate this is on workouts. But if I find this to be as accurate as my Apple Watch, I'm ditching the watch.
So you don't like having the watch on?
I
is
like
that what
having
it is?
real watches. I have
Oh,
like
I
nice watches.
gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But ever since I got the Apple Watch, I've been addicted to it.
So the goal
Yeah,
is
I got
use
you.
the Aura ring and ditch the
Apple.
watch at
Right.
some point.
And
right,
put
and then
your-
go back to old school.
Your
like,
APs, your
Yeah.
Breitleys,
yeah.
your Rolex,
I want to
that
be looking
giant
good.
collection
You know,
you
this
have.
doesn't look
Yeah.
that good. It looks
Yeah.
like a damn computer
I
on my
gotcha.
wrist, right?
I got you.
But
So-
see,
whoa,
I slept
whoa.
7 hours and 5 minutes last night.
According to Aura or your Apple Watch.
My Apple Watch, I can't wear it at night because it only goes
I
one
can't
day.
wear a watch at night.
But it only goes one day.
Yeah.
Like it's literally dead at the end of the day. This thing will go 5 days without a charge.
5 days.
5 days. You just
Alright.
charge it once.
It's
For
so
sure.
surprising.
Have you tried that yet?
Well, no, I could tell you though. This morning it was at like 91%.
There you go.
And I
What
just
was your
charged
heart
it.
rate, though? Did you look at the battery or did you look at your heart rate?
I looked at my heart rate last night. It was like 51, which is
The Aura ring.
Wow.
which is athletic.
Pinnacle
So-
of health.
It said you are an athlete, something like that. It was like very glowing.
You're like, I love you, Aura
sleep
ring.
like an
Obviously.
athlete.
What are you going to do with the sleep information?
I just look at it. And it keeps
Because
me
it's like, would you
interested.
adjust if you're like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm not,
you know what?
I'm not sleeping well. I need a new pillow.
Well-
I'm going to sleep on my side. I'm going to put a
My
pillow between
pillow.
my knees. Like what?
I never even thought about that.
Like what are you going to do with it?
That's a good
what
idea.
I'm trying to figure out.
I'm gonna get drunk tonight, and then I'm gonna see how I'm gonna compare last night to tonight. You know,
See
like
what
just,
happens.
I'm just gonna experiment with my body and then look at my.
That's not a bad idea. And then so that's tonight's drunk. Wednesday's a blue Xanax, and then
and then we compare them,
Exactly.
right? It's like I
Melatonin.
sleep the best on blue Xanax.
Ambien. See, now it makes sense.
Now,
thank
now
you,
the Aura.
thank
See,
you.
he's giving you ideas.
I love it. I love it. Yeah,
I guess if
Marissa-
you would have had the Aura ring, you would have got it paid for on your show, though.
I wouldn't have
You
even talked
should.
about it.
Jimmy
until
Kimmel-
I was being paid for it.
You
It would have not come up.
You've heard of these though, right, Matt?
I have. Yeah,
We're doing this the wrong way,
This is
Kevin.
why we're doing it
Exactly.
wrong.
Exactly.
Because Jimmy Kimmel was giving him his gifts to, and I know you know Jimmy.
Oh, okay. Well, I remember
Howard
from like
Stern
2
told
years
me.
ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I remember they popped up.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe
Could-
like the whole Kickstarter.
It all
thing.
starts in California early anyway.
Yeah.
So they're just making it to the Midwest.
So
Or
I heard Howard Stern talking about it. That Jimmy Kimmel gave him or a ring, and then
Nice.
he was bitching about it.
That's
of
how the
course.
rich and famous do it, you know?
Yeah, right.
They just
Pass 'em out.
Hey, here's a $300
Right?
door price.
Right.
Thanks for coming by.
It's brand new technology.
Exactly.
Here you go.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, talk about it on your show, right?
So one of the things.
Speaking of
the show.
how's your new?
How's your show doing? You actually one of the fun things was Matt was in town, as we mentioned, and he was in our studio doing his radio show in LA yesterday. However that works, you just bring your own equipment and hook in and
Well, pandemic, you know, one of the positive things to come out of the pandemic, one of the few positive things was, you know, the need for updating technology. And, you know, the thing that came out for us and for a lot of people in entertainment was being able to do your shows from home or from isolated areas. So I have this system that I can now do my show anywhere in the world, and it
That's
sounds like I'm
awesome.
sitting in the studio. It's studio level quality.
That's so cool.
It is. It's great.
So you used Lockpod yesterday as your studio.
So I used this exact studio set in that chair right across from where I'm sitting now to
Right.
do 4 hours of radio in Los Angeles.
and nobody in
yesterday.
Los Angeles had a clue.
Well, we
Oh,
tell
yeah.
them.
Oh,
yeah, I
you-
mean,
you
it's
don't.
because you know we're talking about.
You're like,
what
I'm in the
doing
deep
here.
stretches of the Midwest.
I'm in Hammond, and then I'm getting videos from people showing, you know, oh, they're surfing. We were talking about it last night. They're surfing Lake Michigan. Why aren't you
Oh,
out
yeah.
there?
Yeah, you should be.
I wish if I had known, I would have been.
You have a-
100%.
Do you have a wetsuit that would?
No,
combat
I'd have
that?
to find one.
You
know,
don't
truck
have to
one
wear a
down.
wetsuit when you surf out
Oh
there.
yeah, absolutely.
in
the
LA
winter.
too.
I have a
Yes,
wetsuit. I have a wetsuit, Matt.
See,
Go surfing, Tom.
But is it a wetsuit that can handle 30-degree water? Like there's levels of wetsuits.
Yeah, you're
There's,
right.
you know,
No,
2
probably
mils,
not.
3
This
twos,
is
4 threes,
it's
5
for
fours.
the triathlon wetsuit.
Be interesting to see what it is. You gotta look what it is. So
I think you'd be fine in it. You should try it out.
I'll give it a go.
It can't
go.
be that cold.
No, this
Right?
time of year,
No.
it's warming up.
No, it's
balmy.
actually
Lake Michigan's warming up.
You're
right
talking about right on that corner in Whiting, right?
Yeah.
Right by Whiting.
They really
Beach.
do surf there.
Yeah.
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 And there's actual waves.
Yeah.
now. Oh yeah.
Like right now.
Well, I
if
mean-
the wind's blowing from
Yeah.
the north,
So it's a wind swell. I
it's,
gotcha.
yeah, but we're at the very southern end, so you
Right.
get like 4-foot waves in there.
Come on.
No, I'm
Oh
serious.
no! During the summer, during a storm, there'll be like 12-foot waves, 15-foot
Yeah.
waves there.
Dude,
What?
it destroyed.
Yes.
Whiting rebuilt their beach, and it was beautiful. They did it immaculately. And then it was on Halloween night. We were out in Washington D.C. with John Kennedy, whose company actually built it, and it got destroyed by one storm. Like
yeah.
destroyed the whole thing. Like
Oh,
humongous boulders just throwing them like they're little toys.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
So how far out does the wave break, or is it right on shore?
You'd have to talk to
It's
somebody.
right on shore. No, I've seen them. It's like 100 yards offshore. It's really like they don't have to go far out there.
Well, you got to remember though, we've got the double. Think about the marina. That's probably a good 250 feet out.
I'm
200
talking
feet
about
out.
when you're coming off of right by the Mascot Hall of Fame. I know you've been
Yeah.
there, and then you pull into the park right there, right to your right. As
Oh,
you're
Kevin,
pulling.
we're talking
That little-
about two different areas.
Yeah, that little corner there.
That's
it
where they
seems
surf.
like because it's like a corner, man-made. And it
I've
seems
seen them
like,
by the horseshoe.
You're right.
By
they-
Wahala.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They surf by Wahala.
Really?
Mhm.
I've never seen
Absolutely.
that. I should
Like
know
if you're
that.
going to the water department.
Next time, man.
I
we'll
do
get
go
you
to the
feel
water.
that?
Yeah.
I do
I'll-
go to the water department, Jill.
I'm just telling you that's where it's
That's
at.
where they go.
I mean, I'm a good mayor. I go to the water department every once in a while.
I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying
It's
you
like-
don't know where they surf.
Sounds like that's what you're saying.
So just to give us a little bit of reference and make
Yes.
sure that we're feeling good about Lockpod, you do Petros and Money show 5 days a week.
I do a radio show 5 days a week. This is our 16th year.
And you guys stream it as well
4
as
hours
go
a day.
live.
It's on iHeartRadio, streaming. It's available for podcast, all that stuff. I do NFL Network television. I call games for the Chargers. And then various other things that pop up from time to time, like the Big Ten tournament.
How many downloads on your? I just want to make sure we're getting close to where
I
you're
don't
at.
know.
How many downloads a month?
We don't know
on-
either.
Are
That's
we
so
bigger
funny.
in Belgium
Petros
than
and
he
Money.
is?
Yeah.
I think we're huge in Belgium compared to Matt.
Big-
There you
okay.
go.
Petros and Money
And
in
Ghana.
Belgium, not so big.
Not
And
so
Ghana.
much.
We are number one in Belgium. I don't know if you
Well,
knew that.
Tom,
Matt.
Is that right?
Tom says so.
I say that every week.
Why not? Who's going to check that, right?
In Ghana,
Good luck vetting that.
126.
Somebody sent us.
Really?
We're 126th in Ghana.
That's pretty.
out of 127. That was the best.
Well, that's where the list cuts off. Yeah, it does well. I mean, we've been doing it 16 years. We're in LA, so
Do you have like a hardcore just group that listens like every
we
show?
do. We have. Well, we were national for like 5 years,
Right.
so that's what's nice about something like the iHeartRadio app is now all those people
Oh, nice.
are able to stream. Before they would just podcast, so now they can stream and they interact. We have. We did pretty well in a few. It was interesting when we were national. We had some hot spots. Like Cincinnati was really good for us. Fort Wayne was really good
Nice.
for us. And
Beautiful-
so just kind of
beautiful
a couple
cities.
spots that are close to where we are now.
Do people, when they call on your show, do they say anything like, what's up, money? Or is there any like code? Like, when you call up Howard Stern, you say Baba Booey or whatever.
Hey, now.
We don't.
Hey, now.
It sounds so arrogant. We don't take calls.
That's good. though.
We
does.
don't either. Only because we don't have a phone line.
Yeah.
We don't have the
no.
technology. We would.
It never worked.
Plus, it's expensive. Damn, we don't make that much money.
Exactly. Yeah, it just tends to throw you off. Someone calls up. And
You know what?
it's just-
Honestly, because Kevin and I did the show at the other station before, and we would find that your whole show would be dictated by the callers, and which made it easy on us because we didn't have to prepare anything.
Sometimes you didn't really. I mean, sometimes the callers would talk about cats. I mean,
Or they take the show off in a direction we had no intention
Right.
on going.
It's kind. I mean, that's sort of the. For some, it's just lazy radio. It's you don't prep, you don't have to
Agree.
fill the segments. The people call and you just talk with
Totally
them,
agree.
and they dictate your agenda for the day. And it's like that's
Kevin and I do a pre-show for every show, which is like
that's great.
it's a pain in the ass. It's like,
Yeah.
But like we also like we have shared notes and stuff. I imagine you guys do all that.
So
right?
I'm gonna pull back the curtain for the people watching.
Oh,
and
pulling back the
listening.
curtain.
So
Here
I
we go,
see
John.
season 5, episode 19.
That's right, baby.
Do we have a set number of episodes per season?
No, it's just when we're done, we're done.
What? So what determines a season?
We were just talking about next week is the end of the season.
During the intro song, we were like, "Hey, when do you want to end this? How about next
season
week?"
5. It sounds impressive. Season
does,
5,
yeah.
right?
I'm like,
You're like, God damn, season 5.
Season 5. What? How do you determine when a season begins, when it ends?
Yeah. We're done next week.
It's either we're just done
We're
with
going
each
into
other,
season
or
6.
we're
Right.
When we get burned out, end of
Gotcha.
season, we're done. You
Spring
had to
break.
put up double. Yeah, we
spring break, then a summer break,
Yeah.
then a Christmas break.
Believe it or
Very,
not,
winter break.
there is like a little pattern we follow. Yeah.
Small, but it's a pattern.
Like the next season 6 will start and it ends right as the festival starts, and then
Gotcha.
we take a big break.
So speaking of sponsors, I know that
Powering America.
Yes,
right.
that's one of ours.
Powering America. Could Matt read that one off?
Read
Does he
it.
mind?
Sure, we're gonna read it.
All right, ready?
This
This
is
is-
a good read.
This is a
They're getting-
valuable voice.
This is
right
they're
here.
getting their money's worth.
They
They
Take
haven't
this.
paid you
button.
yet for this.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Season 5 of Left of Center. The Lock Pot is presented by Powering America. Gas prices are high. It's time for you to think about renewable energy and the explosive growth of renewable energy in America today. So why not blow a call into Powering America? Because they're going to be able to meet your needs, whatever those needs may be, home, office. A lot of people driving electric cars, like our man John over here. And
That's right.
you got to have those solutions for your employees. Keep them happy, not to mention solar power. Trust the electric professionals of Powering America. And you can get all the information, no matter where you live, at poweringnorthwestindiana.org. That's poweringnorthwestindiana.org. I'd think about dropping the ing. It'd be easier to read if it was powernorthwestindiana.org.
Power. Right?
But that's
But
just
by
me.
the way,
Pow.
Pow. And
Thank you to our premier sponsor.
he did it better
Powering
than us.
America.
Like we've done
Yeah.
like hundreds of those.
I literally have
So
chills.
Season
5
I have
episodes.
You got chills?
I have chills.
brought
I'm
me to
calling
tears.
Powering America right now.
That's right.
Jill's already got it.
Bullshit.
I'm on the phone.
Right.
I hope everybody soak up Matt Money. This is his last episode.
Never having him back.
Exactly right.
You're not supposed to be making us look bad, man.
That was my
I'm sitting
lead in.
there.
That was my lead into one of his sponsors. It's been a sponsor I know of his show for a long time. That's a Ford dealer right near you.
Galpin Ford, number
So-
one volume Ford dealer in the world, 29 years. Think about that.
Let's
You're
talk-
the number one Ford dealer on earth. for
Wow.
29 years
In
a row.
L.A.
Wow.
You're in
That's
L.A.
great.
Galpin
Which helps.
Ford.
Yeah.
Galpin, yeah. A lot of people may know Bo, who runs Galpin Ford, Bo Bachman, who started Pimp My Ride. He's
Oh,
on
no
TV.
way.
He does a lot of Galpin Autosports does all those customs
No way.
for Pimp My Ride and all that. So
Awesome.
people listening may remember that show. That was in
No, I
Galpin.
remember that.
Yeah,
That was
at-
MTV, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was at Galpin.
So one of the advantages of Matt doing that is gets a car every once in a while.
Gets a car.
What's the current?
Nice.
What's the current
My
car?
current vehicle is a electric vehicle. It is the Ford Mustang Mach-E.
Bam.
There we go.
That's my guy. We have that in
Now
common.
you guys can talk Mustangs.
Do we have a picture of that?
What color?
It's called Space White, which is super cool. It's not like a stark white. It's got this hue to it that's sort of gray or
Right.
blue or white, depending on the angle the sun is hitting it.
Nice.
But it's to be fully honest, I was not gonna buy the car. I hadn't even thought about it. I was gonna get a Ford Maverick, their new little pickup, because I like to surf a lot, and I needed that was kind of a little bit more for my needs. And my guy Mike Schwartz, who's the GM there, was just like, "No, you're going to get this car because it's going to blow you away."
No way.
And so I was like, "All right,
Does your surfboard fit in it?
it does." That was the deal. I said, "You got to let me borrow one." So when I fold the back seat down and I drop the front seat, I can fit a 9.6 in there.
No
so
kidding.
it just slides right in, and
Wow.
But it gets about 300 miles to a charge.
Wow.
It's got what's
that's
called
pretty good.
Blue Cruise.
That's easy to Indian back.
So
to.
I can. It's mapped all the freeways. So when I'm on the freeway and I hit Blue Cruise, it will drive itself.
Really?
Like it
Change
will make,
lanes, everything?
Won't change lanes, but it'll make turns in the lane that I'm in. But it's
Right.
funny how
Is it-
much more peaceful your drive. And I mean, you know about LA traffic. It takes me about an hour 15 to get home. So to be able to just pop that button and sort of kind of fade off a little bit
Right.
is kind of nice.
Like, because my truck's a
little
2019 and it's got lane control and it's
Right.
like very rudimentary. It
Yeah.
like bounces you off. It feels like you're like in a bumper car, like one
Right.
of those things at Disneyland where it's like boom, boom.
This
Like,
is smooth.
Is it?
It's just it cruises.
It has like a center line it sticks to.
It's got a center line it sticks to for the most part. If it's a rather large turn, it's a little choppy,
Yeah.
but it's not that much.
So do like Mustang dudes, like the guys that like Mustangs, like old guys, come up to you and they're like,
For sure.
It's,
Right?
What do
it's
you
funny.
think?
There are a
Yeah.
lot. That's one thing I've noticed when it's parked is a lot of the older folks.
Oh,
they
yeah.
stop and they look at the horse and they're like, "That's not a Mustang.
Yeah.
It looks like an SUV or something." What is? But then it's a really cool looking SUV. It's slung pretty low and the entire roof is glass.
No
from back to
way.
front.
So you have like
fixed
total
glass.
Does it go off? I mean,
Does not open, but it's just
Wow.
It's just, you're driving under the sky the whole. It's like having a convertible without
That is
having to
awesome.
drop the top.
Wow.
Highly recommend it.
I love it.
Unfortunately,
well, next time I come out, you got to give me a ride.
for
in
sure.
it.
Yeah, chip shortage and gas prices probably going to take you a little while to get yourself one in your garage.
So let me ask you a question, honestly. So I have a Shelby 5-speed,
Yeah.
350,
6-speed.
6-speed. Yeah, 6-speed. I never used the 6 gear. I told that to Matt right before. Like you would blow mine away, right?
It's
Like-
fast. It's really
Mine's
fast.
fast too,
and
but
fast
like,
off the line. The electric cars are so fast off the
Yeah,
line.
it's-
and you don't have to worry about shifting and stuff.
100%. And
Right.
it's got the different. It's so ridiculous, right? You just hit this button and then you roll this little thing, and it's like, do I want it to be whisper, whatever the middle thing is, and then it's like
Ludicrous
blazing or
mode.
something like that.
Ludicrous
when you hit
mode.
blazing and you hit the gas, it fly. I think it's like probably sub 5, maybe sub 4 seconds, 0 to 60.
So it's like a roller coaster,
Yeah,
kind of
and it just-
acceleration.
it launches. It's
So you'd beat me.
And, there's-
you're trying to be nice about it.
You're
but
not. I don't know. Like, I mean, you got a Shelby. It's got a hood scoop. Like, your car might be
my car's-
incredibly fast.
My car's fast.
Yeah,
but like
so-
I think you'd beat me off the line. I mean, eventually we'd probably be in the same ballpark.
Yeah,
But I think
eventually.
Once
Once
yeah,
we
it'd
hit
take
that
me a couple
90 miles,
seconds.
90 to 120. I got you.
Yeah,
But
I
Matt would
agree.
already be on the blue thing, so he'd be he'd have
He'd
his
be
hands
asleep
back,
driving.
man. Hey, I'm here, Matt.
I miss my car. It's in storage.
Well, soon enough,
Sucks.
it'll be out.
Next month.
Oh, you won't drive it in the winter?
I have because it's
The
just a pain in
salt
the
and
ass.
stuff.
Rear wheel
Yeah.
drive in winter.
So we have two different policies. Marissa and I both have a Mustang now because she stole my first one. But we don't need to get into that.
Seems
right?
like we just did.
We'll talk about that later. But we have an insurance policy for winter, which is right now just SUVs, and then in summer we have the other two cars.
That's
on it.
smart.
Yeah, so it sucks though. 6 months of the year you got to go without it. But hey, I got a birthday card the other day from my dad.
Oh, nice.
Tough times in the McDermott family. It's so funny. I get a card from my dad in the mail, and I'm like, oh my god, this is great. My whole life, you get a card.
Gotta have a little bit of cash. in
Walking
there.
Gives you-
around money.
Give me a little walking
Thank you,
around
John.
money,
Walk
right?
around.
There you go.
So he's always got like my dad's super like He's like
Sentimental.
soppy, super sentimental.
Yeah.
Like you would surprisingly sentimental. Like he like starts crying very easy. He watches damn Hallmark Channel continuously.
Oh.
That and Fox News, right? That's pretty much
Both ends of the spectrum.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, here
Cry.
it is.
I wanna be
It's like
mad.
a thick card. I'm like, hell yeah.
All right.
You know, and then I open it up and I like open up the card and it was a really nice heartfelt message and I'm like,
What fell out?
like looking in the envelope. I'm like, what the hell? So love you, Dad.
It's
Got
all
your
about
present.
it's all about the message, man.
It is. It's about the message.
Was it thick because it was one of those pop-up
Yeah,
ones
it's got
that-
all those stupid flowers on it and all that. I don't need that shit. I
Like
mean,
a
I was
pop-up
hoping
house.
Yeah, so-
tough times in the McDermott family, man.
well, it was nice. He sent the card.
I
He
think
remembered.
once- he did, yeah.
I mean, at least he remembered your birthday.
And my mom sent me what I'm wearing now.
Oh, nice.
Quarter zip.
Nice.
Very nice.
Quarter zip, Notre Dame. Thank you, Mom.
Very
With a
nice.
heartfelt message.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
I'm 53 now, man.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Still trying to run a try this year. I'm actually planning
Like a
on
full.
it. Like I did
Well,
last year.
no, not an Iron Man.
No,
Right.
not an Iron Man. No way.
So what is that then?
Yeah.
What's the swim? Like a mile?
Mile swim,
Okay.
25 on the bike, 6 mile run.
Okay.
That's solid.
Solid. That's Olympic distance. So
It's all right.
You did 2 last year.
I mean, I don't tell people I'm an Olympian or anything like that, but I could do the distance, whatever.
right.
You know, I don't say that stuff.
Where's
out.
the swim?
Wolf Lake?
It's
Okay.
right by
And
the
I
water department.
It is
There you
funny. But it's also I did it in Chicago.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Lake Michigan.
That
yeah.
was a lot harder though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like you were literally like swimming through waves.
Whoa.
That's
Wolf
rough.
Lake's a lot easier.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So hey, Matt, what's your take on baseball?
Yeah. Good question.
That is a good question. I wish I had an answer.
No
depends
opening
on,
day.
Depends on who we talk to as to how long this is going to go. I mean, nobody seems to think it's going to go past May 1st.
Right.
You know, that's maybe where it ends up, and they maybe get 100. I think the local TV contracts call for minimum 140. So in order to get their full rate, they got to squeeze at least 140 or maybe even 145.
People
in.
didn't mind the shortened season that year, 145. But they screwed up doubleheaders, and they did the guy on second and 10th inning.
I like
didn't
that. I like that.
didn't
rule.
like that.
That's a
I like the doubleheaders, the 7-inning doubleheaders.
I do too.
I
That's
love
travel.
that.
That's
Like to me, that's a great. Do 3 or 4 of those a year because
Yeah.
it's not like that's a pretty fun Saturday or something like that.
Did you don't like the runner at second rule in extra innings?
I do.
I do too.
I do not.
100%.
I do too. That's
I
how
want.
travel ball does it.
I want like an 18-inning game.
Yeah.
I want
Oh
to see the
God, there's
bullpens.
nothing
No,
worse.
you don't.
You want to see like the center fielder
Yeah.
pitching.
That is my goal.
I'm not crazy
I want the
about,
22-21 Phillies Cubs game from
I hate that.
1977.
Baseball's kind of a little off the rails right now.
I agree. That's
the
why they
whole-
need to like start playing around and
Yeah.
tinkering with it. College football does as well, by the way, with the playoffs.
I'm happy. I think they're going to get rid of the shift, which is I desperately.
What do you mean?
politic
Oh, they
for.
won't. They won't let you
No
do
more
it?
shift. Got to
Really?
have 2
That'd
guys.
be
So what?
great.
Your
on each side
second
of the base.
baseman has to be on
You
second
have to
base?
be on 2 people on each side of the base.
That's great.
Could you be up the middle at all?
I think
or-
you can be up the middle. You
but
just
you
can't.
have to be on your side.
Yeah, you
of
can't
second
pour
base.
everyone over to the other side.
Oh, I like that.
they were. Playing the second baseman and short right.
I don't understand
taking away
that though
those-
either. Because like I think a good base hitter just take the ball the other way.
I would agree with that, except talking to professional baseball hitters, they're like, you have no idea
Yeah.
what pitching has become. The
Yeah.
fact that guys never go through the lineup more than twice. So once you finally kind of get a read on what's going on, a new guy's in who's throwing 96 with movement, and then
Right.
the next guy. They throw 7 pitchers a game. It's like it's totally different than when you could wear a guy down.
Right.
We're
now you're
away.
talking, which is why you don't want the guy in second in the 10th inning.
He
because
wants the guy.
Wear,
He already made that
wear
clear.
down the bullpen. So
There
they
is
ha-
no wearing
so
down
they
the
can't
bullpen.
do that.
They
So they
carry
can't have
13
7 guys
pitchers
in.
now. Like before, they used to carry 8 pitchers. Now they carry 13, and
Right.
it's like that's all it is.
You're
It's
right.
just one guy an inning, and
He's
it's
right,
a
Kevin.
nightmare.
And this is his job.
Nah, it's just, I mean, I can disagree with
This is
the-
what he does
yeah,
for
you
a
can.
living.
100%.
Just because he's your brother doesn't mean you could disagree.
Maybe I
He's
want to
an expert
disagree
in
because
the
he's my
field.
brother.
Yeah, I am an expert. I'm some kind of expert. Let me tell you. But hopefully they'll get it done. It seems like they recognize. I guess Randy Lerner, the guy, or not Randy Lerner. He's Cindy Crawford's husband. Whatever the guy's name is, Levine.
Gerber, right?
I think Gerber is her husband. Oh, well
Thank you,
done,
Jill.
Thank you.
Still knows her
boom.
pop culture.
So yeah, maybe it is Lerner of the Yankees. Did a pod yesterday, I think, with Michael Kay, who's the voice of the Yankees, and he seemed to, I guess, say things were much better. That they feel like there's that gap in the luxury tax they can find a middle ground on. That all this stuff is now in an area where, hey, they're here, we're here, we can find a
It
spot
seems
in the
like
middle.
they're only a couple million off. It's like,
It's-
come on,
yeah,
guys.
it's
I don't
ridiculous.
think they really like playing in April. April's bullshit
I mean,
games anyway. It's
look,
freaking snowing still in
right?
April here,
100%.
right?
Cut it down to 154.
I like that.
Start it in mid-April.
There you go.
I'm with you.
Started in mid-April, and expand the playoffs a little bit too. By the way,
Matt, the chat wants to see you. They said lower your mic. All right.
Mic lower.
They want to see.
But now
They
they
don't
can't
wanna hear
Now
you.
they can't hear you.
Now they can't hear me.
Just
Yeah.
keep the mic.
How's
This
that?
is a recording of a podcast. You know.
Good point.
Come
Ken.
on.
Shut up,
How many,
chat.
how many people are on the Facebook Live?
48. I
All
think
right.
this is our lowest, like, in a long time.
Oh God!
So much for my
Jill.
star power.
No, they all listen to the pod. That's why
That's
we
right.
do.
It's all
actually.
about downloads.
And then, like, we have to translate it into Belgium. So
Is that what they speak over there, Belgium?
They speak Belgium. Yeah,
That's-
we have to translate it for the.
We went
Belgian
through
audience.
that. It was either Dutch or French or Flemish.
There you go.
What dictates what makes it up on the wall?
Oh, just people give us shit.
Gifts, people
Yeah.
Oh,
throw
okay.
it in.
Yeah,
I
look
brought,
at cigar.
got.
Or
You
booze.
remember this safe from when
I don't see it. I see a Constitution and Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Guess who put the Constitution there? By the way,
I did.
Yeah, it wasn't Tom. I can tell you.
That's
Kevin's like, I got my pocket Constitution.
right.
got that. Yeah, put it
I
up
do
there.
remember that.
That's safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stickers
From
on the
kids.
side.
Oh,
Yeah,
now we're
yeah,
knocking
yeah.
stuff over.
Charlie's Angel stickers.
Hey, let me
Yes.
ask you a question, Matt.
Yeah.
I haven't been to I haven't lived in California since 1988.
Okay.
And the world has changed since I've lived there.
Yes.
So obviously, California was the second state, I believe, to make weed legal. like, oh,
Colorado was ahead of
Right,
us.
right.
We were ahead. Yeah, I mean, we were pretty early.
Right.
Washington, Oregon,
Early.
California.
Yeah,
right around
I
the
think
same
I
time.
think they were ahead of us a little bit, but yeah, we were early.
So, like, I had a podcast about, I don't know, a few months ago where I admitted that I smoked weed at a concert in
Okay.
Chicago. Was driven there, driven back. It actually made national
Well,
news.
and it's become an issue in your campaign.
Right.
Right.
Well, no, I'm pushing because I think it should be decriminalized and legalized across
Yeah,
the country.
hippie.
But like when I admitted I smoked weed at a concert, I was at a Dead concert,
Right.
Dead and Company, and I admitted
It's a
it.
good thing that's all you were doing.
Right. But like, honest to God,
good
like
thing I wasn't with you.
I think it should be news if I didn't smoke weed at the Dead concert personally. But like, so like, it was a big deal that I'm running for Senate and
Okay.
I admitted I smoked weed. Like in California, do politicians admit that kind of stuff?
Or what's weed like in California, right?
So weed's kind of been interest, and so for most of us, like for me, if I want to, I don't really smoke weed anymore. I
Right.
never really smoked a lot of weed, but it's all gummies now.
Yeah.
So and it's great. I've got back issues.
Mm-hmm.
My back's acting up. I'll kind of nibble on a little bit of a gummy,
Right.
and especially at night, it'll help me go to sleep.
Yeah.
If I is that
That's
me?
us.
Oh, that's
No,
you.
that's us.
Is that the general?
Yeah, the general.
Better get the hell out of
Colonel.
here.
Yeah, Colonel.
So yeah, that's kind of what it's become, and it's really lost its stigma. The
Really?
idea, if you tell someone that like you're going out and instead of having a couple drinks, you nibble on half a gummy, that's pretty much normal fare now.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
because they've dialed it all in. Instead of you can get 10 or 5s, and you're doing a quarter of a 5, and that's just kind of your
Right.
I got some pain, and it takes it away. So it's become. It's
Like
been very
mainstream.
normalized. Yes.
They have restaurants out there where people smoke in the restaurant too, right? I remember.
I always think of California being like a non-smoking area.
No, totally non-smoking. Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah?
Like it's really
So it's all about.
it's really
edibles
become
and-
edibles. Yeah.
Wow.
And there's quite a few stores. Like we have one right around the corner from my house on Main Street in Seal Beach.
and
there's
they're
just a
like
CBD
they're like.
store.
I try to explain it to people in Indiana who haven't seen a dispensary, and I'm like, it's like going into a Starbucks. They're like brand new
100%.
stores. It's like so nice.
100%.
Like,
And
it's not like
just it's it's a wall of bud
Yeah.
and a glass case full of gummies
Right.
or pens.
it's crazy.
And it's just like going to the liquor store. They make a fortune. The amount
Yeah.
of money they're pulling in on it from taxes.
Last year, Illinois made more money off of the sale of weed than they did off the sale of alcohol.
In
More
taxes.
tax money.
No,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So.
Isn't that ridiculous?
It is. All right. Well, all
right.
Matt.
Yep, Matt.
Matt Money
We got
Smith.
Lieutenant Colonel waiting to come on. Matt, it's great to see you, bud. I'm sorry I
great
missed
to
you
see
last
you.
night. I wanted to come in and say hi when you were doing the show, but I
That's
didn't
all
want
right.
to interview.
All good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
All right, Kev.
All right. Good to see you.
Good to see you, brother.
See
Maybe I'll
y'all.
see you tonight before you take off.
Perhaps.
All right.
yeah. See you,
All
bud.
right.
Thanks.
All right.
See ya.
Thanks for coming
Matt
in.
Money Smith, everybody.
he
Petros
is.
and Money Show. It was great for the stop by. Have a nice day. And if you need that wetsuit, let me know.
Entertained.
What's that?
Say it again.
What did he
I
say?
muted his mic already. Sorry.
Nice.
All right, let's do some ads.
We'll do
got
some
a great,
ads.
By the way, we've got a great guest coming up. Lieutenant Colonel Lee Lanning is going to be in the studio, actually via Skype, and we're going to talk all about what's going on in Ukraine, as well as the fact that this guy's written 30 books over his career, a decorated veteran, and we're looking forward to having him on the show.
I tell you, it's so like having two guests for us is unusual, but having two guests of the quality of the guests we're having today is it's an honor, and I appreciate Lieutenant Colonel for coming on. But let's go ahead and do our ads first. I'll start again with Season 5 is sponsored by our premier sponsor, Powering America. With the explosive growth of renewable energy in America today, call Powering America to meet your needs for renewable energy in your home or office, including electric vehicle chargers and solar power solutions. Trust the electrical professionals of Powering America. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org.
Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outside patio. Brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event like weddings, reunions, and corporate parties. They're conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu.
Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and within budget. Misprint's experience and technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions and... Good God. There you go. That was Kevin today.
Third time was a charm.
Metal business cards even. They do everything. Business solutions you can count on. Rick Baltensberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. Misprint has two convenient locations in Munster and in Hammond.
Executive Suites Squared, commonly known as ES2, is a first-class executive office environment located on 8094 at Kennedy Avenue. ES2 offers flexible membership plans that provide the privacy of dedicated, fully furnished offices with a 24/7 secured access, so no matter how big or small your business may be, they can accommodate the way you work. For more information on their basic or private office membership packages, or to rent one of their state-of-the-art conference rooms, call them at 219-844-2901 or visit Executive Suites 2 at executivesuites2.com.
Challenger Learning Center. Join Challenger Learning Center for a hypnotic musical journey and laser light show featuring Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album in its entirety. I think they should take up our recommendation on the last show.
Dark Side of the Dark Side. What was it called?
Dark Side of the
Rainbow.
They should do both. They should do 1 week Dark Side of the Moon, and then the following week Dark Side of the Rainbow. That would be very cool. This event, the Dark Side of the Moon event, will take place on Friday, March 18th, with show times at 5 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. Tickets are $15 and must be purchased in advance. Visit clcnwi.com for more information.
Get ready for March Madness with a Michelob Ultra. Ultra has only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, so it's sure to keep your bracket watching fun while continuing to be one of the fastest growing brands nationally and in the region. Get to the next level and try an organic light lager with only 2.5 carbs and 85 calories. Ultra Pure Gold is brewed for your healthy lifestyle. Check out calbrew.com or Cal Brew's Facebook page for brand info and giveaways. Cheers with beers.
Grisolia's Concrete. Grisolia's Concrete was voted number 1 in the Times Best of the Region in 2020 and in 2021. Grisolia's Concrete specializes in all of your concrete projects, and they have been using the original cement finish in the California style since 1972, and also offer stamped and colored concrete. Call now, 219-659-4127 to get your project lined up for the spring.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard of Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortilla Nuevos Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
Try Electronics.
Oh, boy.
Try Electronics wants to be your complete communications provider. Try Electronics has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years. They are dedicated to assisting our clients with their system integration needs. Try Electronics has the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Try Electronics today at 1-800-722-6793. Thank you to our sponsors, and again, to our premier sponsor, Powering America. Thank you for sponsoring Left of Center podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my proud pleasure to introduce to you a retired Lieutenant Colonel, Michael Lee Lanning. Colonel Lanning, how you doing, sir?
Very well. Good morning.
Thank you for coming on Left of Center. Can you hear us all right?
Yes, I hear you very well.
Good.
Yes.
I did 6 years in the United States Navy, so any retired lieutenant colonel to me is a hero. So, and obviously with what's going on in Afghanistan, I just want to say,
And Ukraine, for
and
that matter.
excuse me, in Ukraine, I apologize. I just want to say thank you for your service, sir. I mean, you did a lot of service to the United States of America, and we appreciate you for that.
I appreciate the thanks, but it's not required. It was my responsibility and my privilege to have served.
Colonel, what's your take on Navy guys?
Well, the squids are okay.
I'm a squid, very proud, enlisted by the way. But I was on a fast attack submarine. I worked in the nuke plant, Colonel.
My goodness, that's good.
Yeah.
Great.
So I could be shoved in small places for 4 years without going crazy. That's what I could do.
Colonel, one of the things as we were just researching you and your history that I was impressed about, number one, obviously your service, and as Tom mentioned, we appreciate that and thank you for that. But 30 books, that's no joke.
Well, it came about when I came back from Vietnam. Like every veteran, I thought I would write the great American novel. And I tried and failed miserably and put it back on the shelf and waited about 10 years. And in the 80s is when all the movies started coming out about Vietnam and Vietnam veterans, that we were all crazy or were going to be crazy. So I decided to write my story. If nothing else, I would give a copy to each of my daughters. I kept journals while in Vietnam and was in a lot of bad places at the wrong times. So when I had it completed, I decided to start at the top. I sent it to Random House. They said the book is too long, cut it in half, and we'll pay you twice as much. So the door opened easily, and then they started recommending books, and it just grew, and it just hasn't stopped.
So your first book, Colonel Lanning, your first book was named what?
The Only War We Had. It was my experiences as a platoon leader in Vietnam, followed by Vietnam 69-70, which was my experiences as an infantry company commander in Vietnam.
And you had success right off the bat with your first book?
Yes.
Wow, that's great. Congratulations.
And Colonel, I know that your most recent book is entitled The African American Soldier, if I'm not mistaken, subtitled From Crispus Attucks to Colin Powell.
Yes, it is actually a reprint of an earlier book that's been updated, Black History. And there's also an accompanying book called The African Americans and the Revolutionary War.
So, Colonel, I'm curious, right? You're obviously a white gentleman from the U.S. Army. What got you interested in writing about African American soldiers in the armed forces?
I grew up in a very segregated South. I went to segregated schools, segregated churches, segregated everything.
Wow.
And when I got to college, I met my first black person, but there was only a couple in the whole university.
And where was that?
Texas A&M University. I had no experiences with black people until I got in the Army.
Wow.
And suddenly I found the people I was training, the people that trained me, the people my life depended on, and many of my leaders were black. And many of the things that I had been grown up with and infused with about the black first people was incorrect. So I started studying the situation a little bit. After I got to writing books, I saw that the National Endowment of the Arts and the Guggenheim Foundation had some very good grants for people that wanted to write. And I knew they were interested in minority stories. So I sent off some proposals. They came back and said, "You're too commercial," which I took as a compliment. And I put those proposals back on the shelf and went back to my other military writing. One of my editors in the late 90s said, "What do you know about black history?" And I said, "A little." And he said, "Well, take a look at the black experience in the military." And at that time, there was very little out there. So we put it together, and it's been, like I said, it's been updated over the years. Quite frankly, I don't like being wrong. And I found out that most of my early youth and my experiences with black people, my thoughts were wrong, and I wanted to make them right.
Did you actually interview General Colin Powell? I mean, I know a lot of these people you couldn't interview because they're no longer around, but did General Powell passed away also?
Yeah, just last year.
Gosh, that's
Yes.
Did you ever?
I did not directly, but I did by correspondence. He was a good friend of one of my mentors in the Army that made the connection for me.
So what do you see, Colonel, as the shift in, I guess, the armed forces and minority soldiers in the armed forces from when you signed up probably in late 60s to today?
Well, the military, of course, had no blacks in it until time of war. and then they were brought in when they were needed. And it was not totally integrated until the President Truman signed an executive order in 1948 integrating the military.
Wow.
The military basically ignored the order until Korea, and then by necessity started integrating the forces. The Army was not totally integrated until the Vietnam War. When I came in the Army in 1968, the military was thoroughly integrated. Colin Powell spoke in, I believe, in the late 80s. He said that the military has more opportunities than any boardroom in the United States, and is the most level playing field existed. Obviously, there's still prejudices and racism, but the military has come a long ways in the last 20, 30, 40 years.
When I served on the submarine, I had a number of African-American shipmates that, served side by side with me. But that was, I got to the ship in 89 and I left at the end of 93. So in that period of time, the big issue when I was in Colonel, was don't ask, don't tell. And now that's obviously been repealed as well, allowing LGBTQ members to serve in the military openly as well. But when I was in the Navy, it was already integrated as far as African Americans were concerned, but it was the LGBTQ crowd that had to stay hidden, basically.
And what about women too, right? Were women on
No,
subs?
women weren't allowed on subs. Women weren't allowed on any attack vessels. They could serve in the Navy, and they did, but they had to be on a peaceful ship, like a tender, or they had to be on shore duty. They could never be like fighter pilots. They could never be
And that's changed since you were in,
That's
right?
changed also. In fact, I believe there's all-women submarines now. I'm not sure if the colonel would know more than I do on that, but I know that there's women serving on attack submarines. That was totally not the case when I was in. And that wasn't even that long ago.
Colonel, one of the things I noticed, again, when we did some research on you, and just an amazing career militarily, is that you did some time in Germany and did some training over there. And with all the things that are happening in Europe right now, I was just curious if you could tell us a little about what you did in Germany, and then we wanted to talk to you a little bit about NATO and the importance of having our forces abroad.
I arrived in Germany in 1973, and shortly thereafter took command of a mechanized infantry company in the 3rd Infantry Division. Our mission was, we were about an hour from the border. We had exercises where we came in the middle of the night, you'd get a call, and an hour later you were supposed to be crashing the gate, heading for the border, prepared to meet the Soviet onslaught that would come through the Fulda Gap. It seemed very real at the time, and perhaps with the Russian or Soviet experiences in Czechoslovakia and Hungary a few years earlier, it was a real threat. At least we thought it was a real threat. The problem was, and I think people are not looking at it right now, all the equipment and everything we're sending to Ukraine is wonderful and should be, but it also depletes our regular forces. When I arrived in Germany in 73, there were few spare parts, ammunition was short. It had all been sent to Israel in the 1973 war. It's got to come from somewhere, and it comes from those on active duty. Necessary, but a problem that needs to be looked at.
Could the same be said about Russia right now with all their troops, flowing into Ukraine? Are they leaving themselves vulnerable from attack from the north or from, maybe from, China? Or...
I don't think they're leaving themselves vulnerable to attack, but they're certainly leaving their reputation on the plains of the Ukraine. They have performed poorly. Their maintenance of their equipment has not been well broken down. If soldiers are, if not motivated or not aware of their real mission, they feel like they're really fighting their own people in many cases. I think Putin thought it would be a rollover and very easy. And I think he's been very surprised. I think he waited until the American leadership that he felt was weak enough that he could get by with it. And of course, now he's forged a new relationship with China, and he thought he was all powerful. But what he's failed to notice, he's no more better than what his army is, and his army is, quite frankly, let him down.
When Colonel, when you were when you served, the Russians / the Soviets were constantly the enemy, right? That's who you focused on mostly. 'Cause I know when I was in the Navy, that's all we worried about was Russian subs, Soviet subs. We chased them, they chased us. Is that pretty similar to your experience, sir?
Yes, and in the 70s, we came back from Vietnam after 75 and the fall of Saigon. guerrilla warfare, counter-guerrilla warfare was set aside, and we totally focused on the war of the future, which was going to be mechanized tank, mechanized warfare on the plains of Europe. I think what we've seen in Ukraine, that the tank may be becoming very antiquated with the Jaguar and other missiles that are knocking them out. So every war brings changes and news, and hopefully our military leadership is paying attention and will make the adjustments.
Yeah, I've read about those javelins that are shoulder launched anti-tank missiles, and those are easy to get over to folks. Like, get them to the Ukraine, we can get them there, and they're very effective. And that's what they've said has been one of the best weapons they've had for the Ukrainian military to date, to destabilize the tank columns that are coming through.
Are those heat-seeking missiles? Do they go to the tank, or do you have to fire it accurately?
No, it's a shoot and forget. You pull the trigger and then you can disappear. Plus, it's not a direct fire. It goes up in the air at an arc and comes down. In other words, then it can hit in the top of the tank instead of the more protected sides.
How does it know where the tank is? Is it by heat or?
It is by visual.
Visual. Wow.
The gunner must see the tank. Yes.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Well, one of the things I was curious about, Colonel, is your opinion or your take on the importance of NATO and the importance of that alliance, which, in recent years, maybe the last decade, has been called into question. Do we need NATO? Is it important? And I think as we sit here today, at least from a civilian looking in, it seems like NATO is an essential alliance. And boy, if we didn't have NATO right now, I think there'd be a lot of people nervous in Europe.
Well, a good indication of the importance of NATO is Putin saying that he will not withdraw from Ukraine until they promise not to join.
Good
NATO.
point.
Right.
I think back talking about the experience in Europe, I've been fortunate in my military career that many things I wrote about were areas that I actually was on the ground. And the time I was in Germany, I walked many of the battlefields and visited them from World War II and World War I. And I'll use that to plug my most recent book, the Blister Club, which is a book about the military army aviators shot down over Europe that walked out to Spain to avoid Nazi capture.
Wow.
And I have the stories in that book. It's called the Blister Club, and it just came out.
All right, and that's available on Amazon, I take it.
It is,
all right.
And all the other avenues as well.
So, Colonel, I'm looking out your window and I'm trying to figure out where you're broadcasting from. I'm going to take a stab and say you're in New York. Is that accurate?
No, pretty far away. I'm in Lampasas, Texas.
Okay, I'm way
It's
off.
about an hour west of Austin and the Texas Hill Country.
I was just putting it together real quick. You're an author, and I see a big building in the background, so I was dead wrong. But
I think it's a background that they use.
See?
I'm in my office and it's so messy.
Oh, yeah?
That we put up a fake background.
Must be New York background.
For podcast watchers, that you can't trust everything you see.
Well, you fooled Tom. It
you
looks
fooled
good.
me. Yeah.
So what do you think? As we kind of get done here today, Colonel. One last question I wanted to ask you is, what do you believe will happen in Ukraine? Everyone's saying, well, eventually Russia's going to defeat Ukraine, but what happens then?
If I knew, I wouldn't be talking to you. I'd be talking to somebody.
You'd be on be on CNN or something.
I've been wrong pretty well everything so far. I don't see Putin being able to have his ultimate success is going to be very costly, and the Ukrainians still be seeming to hang together. I think his 4 conditions for his withdrawal are fairly reasonable. I think it's the only way Ukraine is going to be able to maintain. If they turn them all down, eventually they're going to lose. They may be able to maintain a guerrilla warfare and a counter Russian for a long time, but independent Ukraine is going to depend on what kind of conditions they can get very quickly.
I think you want
Russia
demilitarization and neutrality, I think, are 2 of them. So.
Right. Never joining NATO, and then the Crimean Peninsula, right?
Yeah, Crimean Peninsula would stay with Russia. So.
Right. And then, the thing is, if talks do break down, this could be Russia's Afghanistan. They were bogged down in Afghanistan trying to control a country just like we were bogged down in Afghanistan. I mean, what we've learned and what Russia's learned already is it's not easy to go into a country and occupy a country if they're not willing to accept it. Right, Colonel?
That's right. Absolutely.
Because you're surrounded by people that hate you. I mean,
Yes.
You're outnumbered.
Well, I mean, the Russians, it's not too long ago where they did this, in Chechnya. I mean, that was kind of a breakaway. That was a much more reasonable, I guess, rational thought by the Russian government. Like this, it'd be like a state breaking away, right? That was Chechnya. They were within the Russian Federation. They were within Russia. But they went in and destroyed them. But there were so many Russians in that area. I think it's much different than Ukraine, when you're dealing with an independent and, a people that have a national identity.
A very proud people, yes.
So
I'm impressed. I really am. I'm impressed with the President Zelensky. I'm impressed with the fight. We've seen like, when we left Afghanistan, we saw what happened and the vacuum that happened immediately after. And a lot of people predicted when Russia eventually flowed into Ukraine right after the Olympics ended that it would just fold like a house of cards. And, it's been pretty impressive, the resistance that the Ukrainian people are putting up. I mean, I know America's pulling for him. I mean, this is United America in a lot of ways, like 9/11 did. I mean, you see a lot of people that are pro-Ukraine right now, which is great.
And I think it's hardened the resolve in Europe, especially. And I think seeing the European Union, for the first time in their history, use money to finance weapons for the Ukraine is amazing, especially because they're a non-member state. Mm-hmm. And then seeing NATO's resolve and NATO come together and in a unified manner, say we're not going to put up with this. I mean, it's big. It's really big, I think, for the NATO alliance and for the European Union.
Colonel, Kevin and I had an argument about this yesterday, about President Zelensky's asking NATO to enforce a no-fly zone over Ukraine right now. And, obviously, Russian jets are bombing civilians. Russian jets are pounding Ukrainian cities. I'm of the opinion, and Kevin and I had a disagreement yesterday, that, this could lead to World War III. What's your opinion on President Zelensky's request?
I don't. To be able to enforce a no-fly zone will elevate the conflict beyond what we wanted to elevate it to.
Because we'd have Russians and American, NATO and Russian jets basically fighting each other.
Yeah, you'd have
right?
to engage Russians for sure.
You get American pilots shot down, captured, the other way around, or others. It's a little forward, I suppose, but it's just not worth it.
And then, so like, obviously we're doing what we're doing. We're supplying Ukraine with arms. We're imposing severe financial restrictions on Russia, crippling, quite frankly. And then if Russia is not satisfying in Ukraine and then they take the next step and they go into Poland or another NATO state, that's World War III then, right?
Well, it could be one step at a time. And I think that's the reason the Europeans are uniting, is they very well recognize the Russian bear is right on their border.
I mean, my wife's entire family, my wife's 100% Polish, so her family's over there in Warsaw and all parts of Poland. And so obviously my thoughts and prayers are with them all the time. But
I think, and I was just going to say, I think that's, the Colonel's correct in the sense that you have to stay united as in Europe, because any show of weakness will just encourage Putin to go ahead and take the next step versus using Ukraine as like a buffer state between him, or what he sees is between him and the rest of the Western powers of Europe. Well, Colonel, go ahead, Tom.
Lieutenant Colonel Lee Lanning, I just want to say thank you from left to center for gracing us as a guest on our show. You're the highest ranking Army official we've ever had. Maybe the first, actually, but definitely the highest ranking. And you're a great author, and you got great books out. That's Lee Lanning. You can buy any of your books on Amazon, you said, sir?
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, the whole gamut.
Okay, Michael Lee Lanning, author, veteran, war hero, and gentleman. So thank you, sir, for coming on Left to Center podcast. We appreciate it very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Colonel.
Take care, Colonel.
Wow.
Yeah, man. We had to get ready for this show.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Kevin and I were arguing about NATO yesterday, Joe. You would have loved it. That should have been.
Yeah, that was. Interesting discussion for sure. I don't want to call it an argument. It was a discussion amongst friends.
The Colonel backed you up.
Yes. Well, I go ahead.
I don't like seeing Ukrainian cities just getting pounded by Russian jets, and I can understand why President Zelensky is asking for a no-fly zone.
Yeah, he's pissed.
You would hope that, it's bad enough that there's tanks on the ground shooting into, civilian occupied areas. Now they're getting pounded from the Russian Air Force. It's like, I understand, and I respect President Zelensky. I really do. I think he's a hero, and I hope he makes it through this safely. I really do.
Yeah.
Hey, John, you're being super quiet today. What's up?
I had a lot to produce.
You did good, man.
Very good, John.
Thanks. You
Those
think
Skype
this
was
just all
seamless,
happens automatically?
Man. It's magic. You just snap your fingers.
I'm like moving stuff around over here, man. I got to focus.
Great
Really?
work.
Really?
But yeah, thank you guys.
What'd you think?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
One of the better shows. Because
Definitely.
It was nice to have Matt in. Good to see him in studio. Because last time we had Matt in, John, remember Tom wasn't here,
Right.
and the Skype video didn't work, so we just had Matt audio.
Oh, that's
from
right.
LA.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it was good to have him here.
See, that was back in the days when John didn't know what was up. You know, he's like, after 5 seasons and 150 some odd episodes, he's
This is
gotten
when John
better.
says, "Are we done
That's
today
our
or
show.
next week?"
Thank you.
That's
everybody.
season 5.
God
That's season
almighty.
5.
I cannot wait for this season to be over.
What do we have?
You
How you
missed
feeling?
half of it.
2 more shows.
Yeah. How you feeling, by the way?
I'm feeling good, thanks. I'm feeling a lot better than I was a couple weeks ago.
You
Really?
look strong.
Yeah,
You look strong. Strong like bull.
a strong mule.
Yeah, like a strong mule. I said
Pushing
bull.
this into production.
I like bull better than
Yeah.
mule.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, guys. Thanks.
So, hey, I
a
mean,
pack
look at,
animal.
look at what we're bringing to our audience.
That was great.
A
was
nationally renowned author, a nationally syndicated radio voice,
Yeah.
and us.
Thank you, Steve.
Like, you get what you pay for with Lockpod. You got to admit it, right? We're just bringing it. That's all we do.
Free to all comers.
We're here for you.
Free to all comers. Is that what you said?
Yes.
We're here for the Belgian people.
That's not
You know,
Ghana.
we're here for Ghana.
Japan. Don't
We
forget
got
about
you.
Japan.
We got you
Oh.
covered in Japan. You know,
John, I think we need
We
a new
should
map.
pull those metrics.
Yeah.
we haven't looked at our
next-
metrics in like it's so ridiculous, Jill.
Over
Like,
break, we'll look at them.
and then like they say, yeah, you guys did really shitty last year. I mean, like if I'm doing shitty, I'd like to know right now personally, so I can change it, right?
That's why you got the ring.
The ring doesn't tell you how you're doing on the podcast.
It's a
Well, you
Lockpod
need to upgrade.
down thumb.
Yeah, it's like shitty show today. Like I hate this stupid ring.
Well, we're coming back Friday, right?
We're coming back Friday.
Wrap us up.
And then we're off.
It sounds like an order.
Wait,
like, the way you say it.
wait,
Oh,
I
I'm
wanna
sorry.
say
It's
very
something.
demanding.
Are you?
Uh-oh.
I didn't mean to be demanding.
It was
I apologize.
Very, did you think that was demanding?
I'm sorry.
He said, "Wrap this up."
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come off
Hey,
like
since I'm not here on Friday,
Uh-oh.
that. Uh-oh.
I'm not supposed to be here. That might change, but good luck to the Wabash Little Giants. They won a nail biter for the men's basketball team.
Oh, nice.
They're going to the Sweet 16 for D3.
Whoa.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
Wabash.
that. Congrats, Wabash.
I've seen you with your Wabash gear on.
Look at you, Jill. That's good
You're a
stuff.
little Giant fan.
Yeah.
Little Giant fan.
All right.
And then, do we have anything else to hit? You just want me to close this thing
No,
out?
I mean, I'd say good luck to local basketball teams in the regionals. I know Munster won their sectionals, so good
You were
luck
at
to
that
them.
game, right?
I was at the Munster Hammond Central game, which was the semi for the sectional.
And Hammond just got spanked.
Yeah, you know they it was 21-1 after one period, so they were almost
What
out of it before.
Earth happened.
I don't know. They couldn't. Well, I'll tell you one thing. They couldn't hit their shots. I would say Munster fundamentally seemed to be playing a very strong fundamental game. They were boxing out. They were playing good defense, and Hammond just seemed to be a little bit all over the place. And Hammond's got some very good talent, so I don't want to take anything away from Hammond. And by
But
the way,
Hammond, this is their first year at 4A,
Yeah,
though,
Hammond
right?
Central. Yeah, first year in 4A. Hammond Central. They had a lot of fans there, which I thought was great. Teachers were out there. It was a lot of Hammond.
Damn, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
21-1.
But Munster, they're solid. There's a couple guys in that Munster team that I think are going to just continue to get better, and they're a young team. So good luck to the Mustangs.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. I mean, I was in between.
Good for you.
I was
Good
cheering.
for you, Kevin.
I was just there
Good
for the
you,
team.
Hammond guy. that
No,
was
no.
pulled
I was
from-
there to pull for both
Oh, yeah,
teams.
where were you sitting?
I was actually sitting on the Hammond side.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
with Jeff Long and Joe
Interesting.
Bukowski and some other guys.
Interesting.
Yeah, a bunch of Gavitt guys were there.
Huh. Okay. Well, anyway. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching Season 5, Episode 19. Thanks for, listening to Lockpod and being fans, and we appreciate you very much. And again, to Matt Money Smith, thanks for coming in. And also to Lieutenant Colonel retired Michael Lee Lanning. If you're interested, he has 30 books. Just type in Michael Lee Lanning into Amazon, and you will see the variety of books that he has written. So thanks, everybody, for listening to Lockpod. John, great job on the show today.
Thank you.
Jill, great to see you. Hey, did you get that
John.
cake thing back?
No.
Thank you for the cake. My family devoured it, and it's in the office. Thank you very much. Jill was so sweet. She made me a
Yes,
birthday cake.
she did.
Strawberry frosted. It was so good.
And you're a big fan of strawberry.
I am a fan of strawberry.
All right.
And then Kevin Chandler, good to see you, sir.
Nice to see you.
And, of course, coming from the Locomotive, thanks for listening to Lockpod. We will see you on Friday. Lockpod out. Take care, everybody.